Hello, welcome back to Visionary Fragrances. I did a video a few days ago, 6 fragrances from my niche collection that would always be in my collection, and I promised you the designer version of that video. So I've actually got a few more fragrances today. I think I've got around 8 fragrances to talk about. These are 8 designer fragrances that I love and I would always keep in my collection. So when they run out, I'm always going to buy a new bottle. There's a lot to go through, so sit back and enjoy the video. Just a quick disclaimer, I did a video, the one I did a few days ago, I mentioned one of the fragrances in there was Tom Ford Oud Wood Intense, and I had a couple of people mention to me that Tom Ford is a designer fragrance brand, which I completely understand. They are not necessarily a niche fragrance brand, they're a designer brand, but the private blend fragrances are very expensive and they are niche quality, and I don't want to make a designer video highlighting designer fragrances which I would like to portray as being affordable. I don't want to have a fragrance in there that's, you know, £180 for 50ml in a designer fragrance video, so I leave them for the niche. So what I'm going to do is Tom Ford Private Blend are going to be categorised as niche fragrances, and Tom Ford, the signature line, Ombre Leather, Black Orchid are going to be in my designer fragrance lists. I hope it's not too complicated and I hope you understand why I'm doing it. So there's 2 honourable mentions to kick things off. The first one is going to be Yves Saint Laurent Y EDP. Now, it didn't quite make the list of, you know, the fragrances I'm always going to keep, but it's certainly a beautiful fragrance. It's the longest lasting blue fragrance that I've ever tried. It's very strong, it lasts a long time, especially on clothes. I remember spraying this on a grey hoodie I had a few months ago, and I wore it about a week later and I could still smell it strongly like I just sprayed it. This has apple, ginger, bergamot and tonka as the main notes. To me, the tonka in the base gives it a nice sweetness, so it's not a kind of all-out just blue fresh fragrance. It's got some sweetness in there, and that also adds to the longevity. So this for me is the best value for money from the Yves Saint Laurent Y line, the strongest, best performing blue fragrance I own. So Yves Saint Laurent Y EDP. The second and last honourable mention is from a house called Guerlain. This is Guerlain L'Homme Ideal EDP. There's a few from this line. This is the best. This is my personal favourite, and I think it's the best value for money. Guerlain could be a niche fragrance brand as well, come to think of it. I don't think they sell anything else but fragrances, but this is the same price as a designer fragrance, and I just think I feel more comfortable including this in a designer fragrance list. This is going to be an almond and cherry based fragrance. This is almond and cherry predominantly. You do get some vanilla, from some sweetness and some leather in the background. The leather is not very strong, it's quite soft, but it is in the background slightly. This is nice and sweet, it's really classy, and I do find it's really good value for money. I think this is a niche quality fragrance and it's such exceptional value for money. I think this costs around £60, maybe up to £70 for 100ml if you shop around and get a good deal for it. So I think it's a really good value for money, and I think this will make an excellent signature scent. This is L'Homme Ideal EDP, and this is the second honourable mention. On to the main list. In at number 6, Armani Stronger With You Intensely. Now the main notes I get from this are toffee, cinnamon, vanilla and amber. So as you can imagine, it's a really sweet, seductive fragrance, perfect for the cold weather, and this is one of my favourite cold weather designer fragrances. When I wear this, I wore this quite a lot in the winter, I got so many compliments for it, and I don't often get many compliments from fragrances, so that just proves how much this stands out. I believe this is a room filling fragrance. You spray this on and it does fill up a room. It's really strong and long lasting. For me, it's the best of the Stronger With You line. I do own, I think, all of them now, and this is the, I would say, the best value for money because it's the strongest, it's the most interesting, it's got this lovely toffee note, and there are some similarities to Maison Margiela By The Fireplace, although that's probably a comparison video for another time. They don't smell all that alike, but you can wear them in similar circumstances. Really good cold weather fragrance. In at number 6, Stronger With You Intensely. Number 5, Tom Ford signature line, Ombre Leather. This is a fragrance I'm always going to own. It's quite similar to Tuscan Leather, one of my favourite leather fragrances, but less than half the price, although you do not get the kind of jammy raspberry note that you get in Tuscan Leather. The main notes in Ombre leather to me are going to be cardamom, jasmine, and of course leather. The jasmine is like a nice sort of white floral in the mid, and the cardamom adds a nice spice, and of course it's going to be predominantly a leather fragrance. This is a statement making fragrance. This is a fragrance to wear when you want people to notice you. It's not going to be one to wear when you want to kind of be subdued and not noticed, and just to wear something to not smell bad, if that makes sense. Just to wear something, you know, to wear a fragrance so you don't just so you smell nice. This is a statement making fragrance, one to wear in formal occasions when you're dressed up, going out, and it's a real kind of masculine powerhouse of a scent. So a fragrance I'm always going to own, Tom Ford's Ombre Leather. The reason why Yves Saint Laurent Y Eau de Parfum didn't make it to the full list is because of this fragrance. I can't knock this off the pedestal in which it stands. This is Bleu de Chanel EDP. This for me is the best blue fragrance that I've tried. Not the best performing blue fragrance, because that goes to the YEDP, but the best overall luxury blue fragrance. It's such a classy scent. It's very luxurious, and it just smells amazing. I can't imagine anybody not liking this. This opens up with a lovely lemon. You've got ginger, incense, and a bit of kind of amber or sandalwood in the base. This is a fragrance I like to wear if I'm wearing a suit. If let's say you're going to a job interview, let's say you're going to a meeting at work, an important meeting, or you're going to a wedding, somewhere like that when you're dressed formally and you want to just smell really classy and really elegant. I think this is just the perfect fragrance. I haven't got the EDT, I have got the Parfum version, and that is beautiful. It's probably actually a nicer smelling fragrance than this. It's better blended, it's smoother, but it doesn't project very much. So if you want to wear a fragrance where people are going to smell you, I would go for this. This is Bleu de Chanel Eau de Parfum. I can't have this list going without having a Sauvage flanker, or just the original, but no, we're going to go with Sauvage ELIXIR. This for me is my favourite Sauvage fragrance. I think this is the most creative, it's the best quality, and it is the most expensive, of course, but you are paying extra money to get a better quality fragrance. The way I describe this is predominantly a spicy lavender fragrance. It's very spicy in the opening. You've got cardamom, you've got maybe cinnamon, and it is predominantly going to be lavender. So yes, it's going to be very spicy and very kind of aromatic. There is a licorice note as well, which just adds to the complexity. Very strong. I would say 2 or 3 sprays are going to be all you're going to really need. Wouldn't necessarily wear it in the high heat. I actually took this on holiday to Portugal last year. It just didn't really work in the daytime. It was just too spicy, but in the nighttime worked really well. So a fragrance that has some good memories associated to me anyway, and a fragrance I'm always going to own, Sauvage ELIXIR. This next one, number 2, there was a toss-up between this and between Dior Homme Intense, but I actually prefer to wear this. This is Givenchy Gentleman Eau de Parfum. Now again, I own most of the Givenchy Gentleman line. This is by far my favourite. This has a note in the base called Black Vanilla. Vanilla is one of my most favourite notes. I don't particularly know what they mean by black vanilla. I guess that it means it's quite dark, which it is. Now the Givenchy Gentleman line is built around iris, so this is predominantly lavender, iris, and that lovely black vanilla. And the reason why I chose this instead of the Homme Intense is because of that vanilla note, and also I think this lasts longer as well. This definitely projects more and I get better performance from it. Iris fragrances tend to be really good formal fragrances. I wouldn't fancy wearing this casually or to the gym or anything like that, but when you're just wearing nice clothes, when you're going out, when you're going to work, this works really well. So a fragrance I'm always going to keep. Number 2, Givenchy Gentleman EDP. My favourite designer fragrance that I'm always going to own. Do you think you can guess what it is? It's from Dior. It's Fahrenheit Le Parfum. Now there are a couple of reasons why this is the top of the list for me. Firstly, the personal association I've got with it. It's the first kind of expensive designer fragrance that I owned. It's the first fragrance above, say, £70 that I bought, you know, about 3 years ago. Now this is a much more modern take on the original Fahrenheit, which I also do like, but I can understand why people wouldn't like it so much, especially the younger generation. So this has suede, this has rum, this has vanilla, there's a nice mandarin note at the top, and you haven't got that kind of gasoline note or that green note that you've got in the original Fahrenheit. You've still got a nice violet leaf in there, but it's much more sweet, it's much more boozy, and it's just a much more modern take than the original Fahrenheit. This for me is an all-out going out fragrance. I often wear this when I'm going out. This projects well, this gets a lot of attention. It's definitely an attention grabbing fragrance, I would say, and you haven't got that gasoline note, you've just got a lovely kind of suede, you've got the rum, the vanilla, and it's really boozy, really intoxicating, and I find it very, very sexy. So a fragrance I'm definitely always going to own, and one I would recommend that you try. This is Dior Fahrenheit Parfum. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed these 8 fragrances that we spoke about. If there's anything that you've got in your collection that's a designer fragrance that you love and you're always going to own, comment down below right now. Let me know what you would always keep in your collection. I'll see you in a few days with another video. Take care.